Hi everybody, welcome back to the Two Pros podcast. We're bringing you something a little different today in kind of celebration of our first 4 podcasts. We're going to do a bit of a monthly wrap up. I'm quite excited to do this because a lot's gone on this month, although it's a quiet month in golf. I know obviously we haven't been able to get out to courses, but I've really enjoyed doing this, and I'm sure you have as well, Gaz.
Yeah, I think it's been brilliant. I don't know where the month's gone, to be honest. We've had some great opportunities. We've talked about some really poignant topics, and I think we've had some great interaction from people engaged. Now I've had a lot of feedback from friends and family, bless them. They're our viewers who have picked up the pod and had a listen.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's interesting. Obviously, we've had those bits of feedback. We've had a couple of questions, and a lot's gone on behind the scenes, kind of on tour in terms of in the golf world that maybe don't slot into the topical podcast of the week. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of a catch up of what's happened. It's a bit of a what's happening, and I think it could be something really good fun to kind of summarise this month.
Yeah, definitely. Shall we kick off with a question? We've had a question in.
Yeah, that was an exciting moment. I think it was certainly, people are listening.
Yeah, exactly. It was a nice one, really. It was good for us and from an amazing golfer. I'll plug him up. He's one of my best mates, to be honest. A guy called Chris Davison. He's a top guy, and I appreciate him listening and giving us feedback on the podcast. But what he's asked is he's had some new wedges recently, and he was a bit confused that he could have gone for 9 wedges. And what he means by that is from firm ground, regular, soft ground, in the consideration as well, kind of angle of attack, bounce, different grinds. What's our opinion, Joe? And my kind of philosophy of the kind of savvy genre of playing, manipulating the club face with the angle to hit the golf shot you want. And then also talking about kind of the benefits, kind of different grinds and different bounces. What are your thoughts?
First and foremost, that is an absolutely great question, because I think it's something that not many people really know loads and loads about. Mm-hmm. So thank you to Chris for sending that one. Very intriguing topic. I think the whole idea behind the bounces and the grinds is obviously to accommodate the turf that you play on. So more bounce, and this is talking about the degree between the kind of leading edge of the golf club and the turf. So the bigger that number is, the higher it's going to sit. So in theory, the more of this kind of beveled edge you've got on the bottom of the golf club. Something with more bounce is going to be better for soft turf or people that take a bigger divot to help that ball to get the club back up into the air through the turf. And then for somebody that normally nips it very close to the turf, something lower, in theory, should help them. For over here, it's a really interesting topic. I think, truth be told, that there isn't one that suits at the moment. I think you can't, for us as British golfers, we're sitting inside now. It's been snowing today. It's been raining for the last week. The turf is going to be very, very soft. So something with a load of bounce is ideal. But then come out middle of summer, fairways are brown. It's hard as a rock. It's not answering to what you need it to do. The perfect answer would be to buy those 9 wedges and have them for every occasion, but that's not financially beneficial. Yeah. My answer to that, look at the 2 kinds of conditions you play in. So for me as a parkland golfer, I know that it's going to be reasonable during the summer and wet during the winter. So for me, it's between a mid and a high bounce wedge. And I think the determining factor is then on how you play your shots. Yeah. That's when your angle of attack comes in. So somebody that plays linked courses, that's going to be bone hard through the summer and medium in the winter, go something lower to mid and take into account your angle of attack there. But once again, goes back to that first episode where fitting is just so vital.
Yeah, I think something you hit the nail on the head there for me is the angle of attack. If you're one who chops into the turf, you've just got to look at that bounce and look at the kind of the more the bounce, the merrier to help you get through the turf. You don't want to be low bounce, thinking you're a Jordan Spieth of this world, nipping your wedges and you take a 4-foot divot. It's not, and because you're going to hit it fat. And then people are also, if you've got too much bounce, that little flop shot over a bunker, it gets a bit scary when you open that face.
Yeah, see, intriguingly, once again, this is where the other side of it comes in with grind. So if you are somebody that likes that higher flop shot, then you've got to start looking at grind to accommodate the bounce and the style of shot you play. It really is a minefield for a lot of people. And I think it's scary because it's not well understood. And you can go into a shop and be completely bamboozled by what somebody is going to sell you. My words of advice would be to go out on YouTube, have a scroll through what the bounce and what different grinds are. Look at people on the tour truck grinding wedges and just try and build that little bit of understanding as to what's going to suit you. I know Titleist, anywhere you go with the Titleist posters, will show you the grinds of the wedges, and it could just help you to understand it a little bit more. But I can fully understand it being confusing, and like you say, you could walk out the shop with 9 wedges, one for every occasion.
Yeah, and for everybody out there who's thinking, what's grind? It's literally they grind the sole of the golf club. So it's the position, they put it on a grinding machine and they'll take away a certain part of the club. They put like a Sharpie on it, Joe, and things like that, don't they? And see where they're making contact with the turf. And
yeah, it's almost the shape of those wedges. So if you look at it, somebody that opens the face really wide for flop shots, that heel is going to cause a lot of trouble if it's sitting up nice and steep off the face. So all they're going to do is take that material away. It's not something I would suggest doing at home. Don't go and butcher your wedges, please. But if you can see what kind of the offers are, so 60 degrees will come in 3 different grinds, and once again, most of the Titleist posters will come out and say, if this is what you do, this is the wedge you need. In theory, it simplifies it a lot, and I think that needs to be seen a little bit more. So go and have a Google at Titleist and the Vokey wedge grinds, and I think before you go and get new wedges, go and have a look at kind of what's going to suit you, just so you don't get sold the standard off the shelf, standard length, standard weight, because I don't think wedges are fitted well enough.
No, I'm with you there, Joe. And I think something that a lot of people don't consider when they're purchasing wedges is the lofts, the gappings. We've got strong lofted irons now throughout the bag with a lot of people. And what I mean by that is kind of 10 years ago, a 3 iron is this now the equivalent loft to a 5 iron. So the lofts have got really strong. So that's going to leave you a massive gap at the bottom end. So you might not, as Chrissy said there, have 9 wedges. You could have 12 wedges because you might have another wedge in there to fill the gap between, say, your gap wedge, your pitching wedge, your 9-iron, because your 9-iron now might go the distance your
Seven used to go.
Your 7 used to go these days. So that's something to consider. And I think both of us, we've got wedges that we both love. And that's because the look of the wedges as well. I think it's so important to get it down on the turf. As you said, try and get fitted, try before you buy, and see, do you love the look of this wedge? Because you're going to play lots of golf shots with that wedge. And if you don't like the look of it, it is not going to fill you with confidence when you try and play that little bump and run or that little flop shot over the bunker.
Yeah, 100%. I think another quite valuable thing to add to that is, obviously, if you're going to buy them, go and try them without a doubt. Don't just buy them off the shelf. But when you're trying them, I saw this in a big box store so much that people would come for a 60 degree to play chip shots with because they wanted something to stop quicker. And they would go into a simulator and they'd hit full shots with it. That's great for full shots, but you don't know what it's doing for the shot that you're buying it for. Now, I know the facility I'm at the moment, we've got a driving range, we've got a short game area, we've got bunkers. So if you want to try a high lofted wedge to get out of a bunker, you've got to hit it out of a bunker to try it. So go somewhere that can accommodate the needs that you have. If you want to hit full 50s, then brilliant, simulator's great. But once again, you're not going to see how it takes a divot, how you get on with it on a grass range. And you're not going to be hitting off a mat. So it's very, very important to go and pick where you get fitted to make sure that they have got it. And that's, I think, a massive thing for local pros. Most places have got somewhere you can hit wedges 90% of the time.
Or if you can take them out with you. If you've got demo wedges or demo heads that you can kind of get made up and take out and go and play your 18 holes with the potentially the wedges that you want in your bag.
Yeah, it's something I'm a massive advocate for. I know I've got fitting carts, we've got demo wedges, we've even got like the demo drivers that you can take out. We'll let people take them out for a round. And that gives you the ability to hit two drivers. You hit two balls, you can see which one you're playing better with. 7-irons, you know where you'll normally hit your 7-iron from, you can judge a result. On a range or on TrackMan or whatever simulator it is, it's very, very easy to get drawn into that, oh wow, I've hit that one well. Yeah, that does go further. Well, it might not. You might be feeling that.
Yeah.
And once again, it's off a mat, it's with a ball that may not be, it might be a bit harder than the ball you use. If you're playing Pro Bs all the time, you end up hitting a top flight, it's going to go further. And I think that's where it's really important to get fitted properly and appropriately and to have a think about your local pro, because they, A, know your game better, B, have the kit you can take out on the course, and C, aren't fueled by commission. They're going to sell you what's best for you, not what's best for their back pocket.
Yeah, and again, don't be tempted with that bargain online, because they're a bargain for a reason. And I know there's some bargains, and I know Chris brought his wedges off online, but we must have had 20 or 30 WhatsApp messages between ourselves going through all the specifications, looking at the detail, because I know Chris's game, I can advise him. But if you're somebody who's just starting the game and you're looking for advice, go and see your local PJ Pro. Go and pay them a visit and ask them the questions.
And I mean, even if you get the info that you need from this, I know we've got a loft and line machine back at the shop. And for people that want to tweak it, so I tweak my wedges a degree. So I carry a 50, a 55 and a 60. So my pitching wedge comes in at 45, so it gaps perfectly. But if you go get them tweaked every year, go and have a gapping session with your pro, so you know how far you hit things, and that you've also got your wedges that if you change your angle of attack and start to de-loft it a little bit more, those wedges are going to go further. If you want to rein that back or increase your spin, then get them to tweak them. It isn't an expensive job to do, and I think it's something that a lot of people should do.
And that's something I'd recommend people, if you've been out there, you've had lessons, you've had tuition, your game's improved, go and have a gapping session with your pro. Because and for people out there who don't understand what a gapping session is, it's literally you hit multiple shots with the golf club. The pro will take an average of how far that golf club goes, and then hopefully you're seeing a nice gradient in terms of 10 to 15 yards between each golf club in your bag. It's going to get more as you get towards the top end of the bag. And then there's a little pinch in the middle, Joe, and around about kind of 8-iron, 9-iron. It always gets a bit funny around that mark.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, for example, the 4 and 5-iron sit very close together. So all I do, I go back, tweak the 4-iron to make it a fraction stronger, so I get that gap in. And that's something that most pros can offer you. And there's always one in the local area that can do that for you, not to just tell you how far you're hitting them, but to get you hitting them to better gaps, so that you start to see a better kind of performance in your game.
Yeah, because we all do, don't we, Joe? We think we hit it further than we actually do. And
the amount of people I've had tell me my kind of tech is broken because they don't hit the 7-iron 180, it's unbelievable. It really is. And I think that's where people, if you do a gapping, you can realistically see how far you're hitting that ball.
Yeah, and then for me, I've got a chart in my bag. I know how far my half, my 3/4, my full, my wedges go, but then I know how full irons through up to my driver and to my hybrid. Because then you're standing on a golf hole and you're not guessing. You're not guessing. I think that comes to a point that we're going to talk about in a minute, kind of straight hot off the press, about the kind of PGA of America going to be allowing distance measuring devices in tournament play. What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
I'm so relieved that they've come up with a effective but sensible method of trying to fix this issue. These guys get the right numbers. We see how close they stick the ball to the hole. That's because they know the distance and they know how to hit it. So for me, having that distance measuring is just going to save someone like DeChambeau pacing 90 paces out from the 150-yard marker. It's going to make it quicker. It's going to make it more effective. And I really hope, another thing we'll come on to is distance in a little bit, but I hope we can start to see some really, really good approach shots, short game from players getting the right yardage and hitting great shots. I reckon we'll see probably a fair few more start ending up either in the hole or within kicking distance that will improve the speed so much more.
You're still going to hit the shot at the end of the day, aren't you? I know people out there
100%.
will be saying, "Oh, this is bad for the game. You're taking all the kind of the creativity and the fun out of it," but it isn't. It's just it's getting the guys on tour, and especially in other territories where golf is kind of over 5.25 hours for an average round of golf. That's a long time, and me and you, Joe, haven't got that time.
No,
We want to get around that course in 3 hours.
I think it's interesting. It's another point we'll hop onto, but this differential between amateur golf over here and high level professional tour golf over here, and the 90% are worrying about the 0.01.
Mm.
And I think there's only an exclusive amount of these players that do this.
Mm.
But
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
That's the way it's gone. A lot of these rule kind of, should we call them rules officials, feel the need to make rules because they need to make rules.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, we've seen a couple of adjustments to the rules this year. I'm personally surprised from 2020 that we didn't see relief from divots.
That's
especially in the fairway.
Mind, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that we see a lot. And once again, for amateur golfers, I can guarantee now, if we were playing a fun round, you strike one down the middle at 270, 280, you ended up in a divot, my first reaction would be, I'll take it out of there. Don't worry about playing out of that, because it's no fun. It defeats the object of the game. And I think for amateur golfers, golf's hard enough without having to play out the 4-foot divot.
Yeah.
So it's another one.
Are you touching on here then that the kind of distance report that the RNA and USGA kind of issued last week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting topic to get into. Obviously, we know golf is getting further, certainly off the top 1%. But I mean, I mentioned this to you previous to recording this. When I've actually looked into it, the last 20 years, we've seen a rise in average drive distance for amateur golfers go from 217 yards carry to 220 yards. So, and that amateur golf, I would say, is 95 at least % of how the game is played.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't see how the game has got longer for the guys on tour, apart from the fact they are in the gym constantly. So, I mean, you look at it, Bryson hits the ball a country mile. Now, I personally am a great advocate of that. I love to see it because he's refined a skill that hardly anybody else has. To swing the club at that speed, to find the centre of the face and to hit it straight relatively is an unbelievable talent. If you take everybody's driver from 46 inch to 44 or 48 to 46, sorry, Bryson will still hit it further because he's physiologically massive. He's got a great swing on him. He's got a sustainable swing. He'll hit it further. Of course he will. And I think once again,
the point is, Roger, he's not winning every week. I think if he was winning every week, like almost like the kind of Incredible Hulk, and just walking over the fields, there's an argument for it. But there's still elements of skill about keeping it on the planet. You've still got to hit it on the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reasonable expectation that obviously the harder you hit it, the faster it travels, the more potential it has to go offline. And it's a risk-reward thing. We've seen him screw drives up, and we've seen him put himself in trouble. So for me, I think a more effective way of dealing with that, if you're looking at the Open next year, say we go to St Andrews, it's not a spectacularly long course, and Bryson could have the opportunity to overpower it. Make it a nightmare from 350 plus. Grow that rough up, narrow things in, and make him play it the way you want it to be played. And if he looks at a 400-yard green and goes, I'll take that on, and drives it, fair play to him, because he's overcome the obstacle of waist-high rough, where if you're going to hit it now, you're not going to find your ball. Simple as.
Yeah.
Make the courses tighter.
I think some other things that we're going to discuss as well that's on the table is the grooves on all golf clubs, and also the golf ball. I know there's a bit of an outcry for rein the golf ball back, get the wedges not as sharp, or it's kind of deep for the golf ball to spin. But as you said, Joe, I think we're going to get to a point where there'll be a professional level equipment. And to be honest, there already is. There's shafts, there's heads, that they haven't gone down to Dick's Sporting Goods or American Golf and picked up off the shelf. Those shafts, those heads are exclusive to these professional athletes. So there's already a gap. There's already a difference in what we see and what they see.
Yeah, certainly spec-wise, it's a lot tighter than what we get. Your classic driver could be within a degree tolerance. Your 9 could be a 10, it could be an 8. As well, these guys, if it's a 9, it's a 9. End of story. But does that mean they're hitting it any further? I don't think it does. I think if you look at Tiger, for example, and his training regimen when he was winning on tour, that wasn't luck. It wasn't because he hit it further. It was because he outworked everybody. You look at Bryson on kind of Instagram with Chris Como and Kyle Berkshire. He's learned to hit the ball a long way. If every other tour player did the same, he wouldn't be special. But he's found a way to outwork everybody to get a performance benefit. I don't believe that should be punished.
No, and what I like about it as well, about all the guys and the girls out there now, they're looking after themselves. It's become an athletic sport. When I first got into golf, there was people out there who kind of called golf an old person sport, for people who were unfit and things like that. But you've only got to look at Charlie Hull, Mal Reed, the Corder sisters, Woods, Koepka, DJ, DeChambeau, the list goes on, that are physically, they are athletes now. And I think we've got to deal with that. They're athletes.
Yeah, without a doubt. And these guys spend time in the gym. And is it any surprise that, take the Corder sisters, for example, they spend time in the gym, they work hard on the game, they win on tour. It's not like I say, it's not a case of luck. It's hard work that wins you these things. Look at your putting. If you spend every hour God sends on the putting green, you're going to become a better putter if you practice properly. If you spend hours in the gym, you're going to hit the ball further. And if they make it so that everybody's hitting the same length driver, Bryson will still hit it further. He won't go shorter. I mean, he's got the potential to, if he wishes, to gain the accuracy when he started hitting it 400 with a 46-inch driver, because he'll do it. Classically,
the only argument there for me is there's golfers out there from a fitting perspective who might need a longer driver, and
100%.
And you've just taken something out of their arsenal that maybe could suit their game, and it's not because they can hit it further. It's just because they're 6'6" and they need a longer driver.
100%. And I think another side for me, we don't know quite how far this will go. So it might not just be a top tour thing. This could filter down to our level of the PGA. Now, I certainly know the set behind me cost me quite a wedge, really. And I would hate to turn up to a tournament and them say, oh, you can't use those. Because then this local rule thing, it needs to be one thing or the other, because you can't have a good amateur, especially as a younger adult, that's bought a set of clubs, then become off, let's say, from kind of 4 to +2, becomes an elite amateur, rocks up to a competition and can't play because they haven't got the right kit.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be some flexibility in this, and I think that's the side that worries me, because at what level are you going to need 2 sets of clubs?
It's difficult. It's so difficult. Moving on to kind of some other things for what's been going on for you just in general, Joe. How have you found this kind of lockdown 3, and how are you getting through it?
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. I think without doubt, it's been difficult for everybody. We've kind of known what to expect. We've had bad weather, so we haven't really been able to do as much as we did through the summer. It's almost felt like kind of November to now has all been one continuous, I can't say it, but storm of just constant kind of negativity. But I think we've found a way through it. I know, especially from my perspective now, kind of got put in the back room. For anyone that follows kind of Instagram, you'll have seen the back room. We've had a great evolution in here now. So we've ordered Capto, that's a great bit of tech to help with putting lessons, and kind of popped a nice TV in, popped the flat screen in, popped a bit of storage in. It looks a real nice facility now, and it's somewhere that I'm spending a lot of time to kind of work on the stroke and to build my own education to help a lot of clients with as well.
It's a cave, it's a den, it's a golf den.
Yeah, It's getting there. I'm hoping a few pictures will go out soon as we got Capto. There's been a lot of effort into going kind of training aids and bits and mobs that I believe will help people. And I think that's been a big side of it. Ultimately built the arsenal, built the knowledge. And I look forward to coming out of this and teaching as a kind of a new style of teaching, really. I've learned so much in the last month that I wonder how I taught before.
Yeah, I think that's great. Take stock. It's jump on online platforms like we're lucky to have PJ Learning platforms like that to develop and learn. And there's so much good education out there. Now you've been staying up till the wee small hours, Joe, doing education in terms of your online stuff and your Capto training and things.
Yeah, there's been a lot of these certifications, and I think it's also important for a lot of people that maybe aren't PGA pros to understand that we have this kind of responsibility to stay up to date on our coaching stuff. And PGA Learn's been a superb platform for that. It's reasonably new, where we get access to webinars, to certification bits that are offered to us to be able to improve our coaching. And I think that's such a fantastic move from the PGA, because it's a reasonably new thing.
Yeah.
To help us. I know it's helped me through lockdown, it's added to the education, but it's always there for us to further ourselves, and especially for, like I say, the people that aren't PGA pros know that we do this. There's a lot of effort goes into staying on top of our game so you can stay on top of yours.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think for me it's been heartwarming to see people trying new ideas. So fellow PGA professionals, they've either jumped on Instagram Live, they've started recording themselves in terms of swing tips and advice and putting it out there on social. So fair play to everybody out there who's kind of gone, I'm going to give this a go. And it used almost lockdown as a bit of a trial to see how it goes.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look at what we've done through it. We've been doing Instagram kind of lives. We've done webinars with people. One night we sat up on a Monday and said, should we do a podcast? And the Tuesday we sat there and here we are a month later. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have realized just how much is out there in terms of helping people. I mean, we don't need to be teaching constantly to bring information to people. I'd like to think that this might have helped a few people down the line, or when they get out of lockdown, for when they get fitted or looking for new bits of tech. I think there's a lot of good that pros have brought to people.
Yeah, and for me, the podcast, it's a bit of companionship. It's a bit of, like-minded conversation that hopefully people either can listen to us in the morning on the way into work, or just general going out for some fitness or exercise, and we're in there chatting golf because that's what we love to do.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, it doesn't have to be serious. Like golf is thought of as such a serious sport. And I hope we're kind of breaking that down a little bit for people, making it a bit more fun. And if pros are on Instagram doing stuff, Twitter, YouTube, podcasts, it brings away that kind of iffiness about golf. And I hope that anyone that rocks up to Trenton that's listened to this can go, oh, yeah, you've got a contact there. And that's what we are ultimately, is we want to be contacts to people in the golf world that can almost ask us a question. If you've ever sat in a pro shop and thought, I can't ask that because it sounds stupid, ask us, because you're not going to get laughed at. There's going to be information there, and that's what we want to bring to people.
And the fair play that we talked about at the start there, Chris, he asked that question, but he always comes and isn't afraid of asking the question if he's going to look for new equipment or for new advice, because he knows he's got a pro friend at his fingertips to help him with advice. So yeah, fair play to Chris to reaching out to us on Facebook, but also just for being afraid to ask the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from anybody else listening with a question as well, if you don't want it read out, then that's fine. It won't be a problem. We can answer stuff privately and help out. I certainly know from my perspective, it's been kind of a perspective widening experience. So for anyone that doesn't know, on social media, I put out a free kind of putting class, and all it was a case of is sending 2 videos across. We'd get you an analysis done and help you improve your putting through the winter, through lockdown, and ultimately into the season. And that absolutely blew my mind, from a kind of remote coaching place, to have players such as kind of +4 handicappers get in touch. Great guy from Ireland got in touch, and hopefully we've helped him. And as far as Canada, that's just absolutely mind-blowing, to this reach that we've had, and I hope the golf community comes together a little bit more all over the world.
Yeah, because it's global social is, and again, you put something out there and you don't know who's picking it up.
100%. But I think this is such a good thing for a lot of golf pros that you will get noticed without a doubt, and it will be out there. And I think it's just having that initial confidence to go, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I think once you commit to it, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be fun or helpful.
Yeah, I think you said that the other night to me, of just a case that it's that daunting process of, should we put it out, should we not put it out, are we going to get ridiculed, are we going to get bad comments? But you're like, well, let's go for it. Again, we're not being offensive to anybody. We're not saying anything that's going to cause controversy. We're just chatting golf. And why wouldn't people want to listen to that if they love the golf?
Yeah, I mean, like we said at the start of this, if not everybody's into it, that's okay. The people that listen, we want to help. And if you find it helpful, then we've done a job. And I enjoy that side of it.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. It's been a great month. Been a really good month. And more to come.
I mean, another thing I kind of want to touch on personal wise as well is kind of trying to keep in shape. I know we've tried to do it as much as we can, from either workouts or socially distanced runs, and that's been a great thing. And if anybody is struggling, obviously Rick Shields bringing forward the kind of Walk 18 thing. If anybody needs the help or support, then we are here to help, and I hope that we can, if you are struggling at all.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pros out there it's been difficult for. And please, again, as Joe just said, just reach out, just drop us a message, just pick up their phone if you've got our numbers personally, and just have a chat. We're here to support, because this is what we do. This gets us through a week, because we're planning and thinking about golf, and it focuses our attention on work and on podcasting, and it really gives us to something to strive for at the start of the week.
Yeah, I think something that people forget a little bit is that golf clubs are a social place. And I know people that have sadly lost partners or are on their own, that the golf club is a massive part of their life. So even if you're not struggling at the moment and you're not sure if somebody else is, reach out and give them a call. Go just check in on them, see how they are. And I think that's a great way of just connecting with people and making sure they're okay.
Yeah, totally agree. Because golf is like you said, it's the social. A lot of people out there, I know friends, don't really care for the golf. It's the company, the people they play with, the cup of tea or the beer they'll have after. That's their week. That's what they want to be doing.
Yeah, 100%. And sadly, that's been taken away for a lot of people throughout the last year. And like I say, even if it is somebody that you know that might be on their own, or just you want to check on, just make sure you keep in touch and see how they are.
Yeah, exactly. And chat golf, talk golf. There's enough good golf going on out there on the tour at the moment, from the ladies to the men. So talk golf, talk equipment, talk rules changes, talk what you're going to buy when you come out of lockdown, all those type of things.
Gosh, we have covered a lot of these podcasts, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm just going to move on slightly now and talk about kind of a little bit of a separate sporting event that I really enjoyed this last week. So the Super Bowl, first one I've ever watched, must admit, absolutely amazing. Loved it. It was fantastic. Of course, now I'm going to class myself as a Bucs fan just for watching it and the whole Tom Brady effect. But looking back at the tour, we're looking at kind of a 43-year-old quarterback here that's won 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. He's obviously got better with age. I mean, looking at the way DJ's playing now, a Masters win, a win this week, do you think he's going to be one of those kind of players that does age well and ends up winning more maybe towards the back end of his career than he does at the start?
Yeah, a little bit like a VJ or a Davis Love, those type of golfers. In looking now, who's still going on? It's the Freddie Couples, it's the Montes, it's the Langers, it's the Owls. Yeah, I think you can, if you keep yourself in good shape and you're constantly striving for improvement, why not? Why can't you play into your 50s and your 60s? And I think that's something they discussed in America about the Champions Tour of, are they going to have to up that age to 60 for people to be kind of on there and not be like it is on the PGA Tour?
I think that could be really interesting, because just nipping back to kind of Brady, you look at somebody that is keeping themselves in peak performance kind of levels in the gym a lot, training regularly. The DeChambos of the world, the DJs, are in that era of golf athlete. And I mean, as good as kind of VJ was and Ernie and all those, they maybe weren't number ones quite at the age as where now we're looking at players that could play realistically into the 50s, like your Mickelsons, but we're talking world number one at an older age. That seems a little bit perplexing, really, but I think we could see it happen from a few of these now that are keeping themselves in top shape.
Yeah, especially with thinking golf courses, you're thinking what we've got coming up this year with Augusta again, but golf courses where you've got to think your way around and be able to plot your way around. And if you've played there multiple times, like Tiger and Augusta, Spieth, I know he's still a young guy, but he's played the Masters quite a lot. Same with DJ Mickelson. These guys who've been there before, and you've got that experience, and you couple it with physical prowess, and you've got the fitness. Yeah, why not?
I think it could be a really interesting one. I think that's shown, especially kind of from the Super Bowl. There was very much a youth versus experience kind of layout there. And I think that's probably then closest to golf. I mean, you can't have a boxing match 20 versus 50. I wouldn't have thought. I've certainly never seen one. And you're always matched to somebody same height, same weight, similar age, as where your golf side of things is that open. You can compete against somebody 55, 60. You don't have to go to the Challenge Tour as soon as you reach the age. So it could be a really interesting one, especially from golf in the next 10 years, 20 years, to see how the now athletes age into Challenge Tour age, whether they're still world number one or whether they've not quite been able to hack it.
I look at Koepka this week. Final round, he played with Steve Stricker, who's on the Champions Tour, and is it kind of?
And let's be fair, Stricker had a good weekend. He had a very good weekend, actually. Quite enjoyable to see him come back and play.
Yeah, definitely. What's the next month going to hold then, Joe? What are we up to?
Oh, we've got an interesting one. I'm hoping by the end of this we may be able to get back on a golf course. Fingers crossed. I don't know if that's dreams or reality kicking in. I think we're just going to end up making the most of it regardless of what we end up doing. If we're indoors, then we're indoors. We'll keep learning, we'll keep doing bits, keep bringing these, hopefully. And if we are out on a golf course, then I hope to bring a little bit more content, kind of golf course based, and hopefully a few new bits of kit are out for us to test and have talks about, and actually get some of the kit we've talked about in hand.
Yeah, really good.
It should be an exciting month. I'm hoping a few lighter nights. Obviously, clocks go back at the end of March. It should start to get a little bit more positive.
I agree, mate. We need it. And again, just a big shout out. Thank you, everybody who's supported this first month. It's been overwhelming, the kind of positivity and the feedback that we've had. So thank you. And please don't hesitate to drop us any questions you've got or any topics that you want us to discover. Throw a few spanners in the works. Try and not catch us out, but also just try and make us think a little bit. So yeah, it's been great. And thank you, Joe, for the company, the companionship, the friendship. It's been a great
month. A pleasure. Yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, when you put something like this out, any response is good, but this response has been great. I've really enjoyed doing it, and hopefully we'll continue to enjoy doing it for as long as we do.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. Thank you for watching. And here's to another month of the Two Pros podcast.
Certainly. I look forward to it. Thank you, everybody.